Warhammer 40K, Rogue Trader, Void Shadows DLC, all companions builds. Next in line would be Heinrix Van Kellogg's, the Ordo Xenos Inquisitor. Extremely good character, very underrated, and one of the most OP characters if played the right way. Let's not waste time, and let's go.
Are you ready for Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader? Because I am. The Emperor protects.
We start from characteristics. What is the most important thing on Heinrix? Definitely it's willpower and agility. Then comes the weapon skill, because we're gonna play Heinrix as a psyker assassin in this build. He basically needs all, including strength, so to balance out Heinrix is a quite difficult job, but I got everything covered for you. What is the most important thing on Heinrix? It's his psi rating. We can max this out up to 10, 12 for a companion. That's quite good, yeah. As far as classic stats go, Heinrix requires a lot of dodge and a lot of parry. Everything else doesn't matter that much. As far as skill checks, Heinrix is probably the worst skill checker in the game out of all companions, so don't rely that much on him. You can go with athletics, demolition, and carouse. He is Ordo Xenos Inquisitor with very low basic Xenos, so unfortunately that's how things stand for Heinrix. He is there for combat, not so much for skill checks. Heinrix is a psyker warrior turned into assassin, becoming exemplar. Let's go with a warrior phase. First we go with charge, then we take coercion, then we're gonna take endure, into ulti, daring breach, then we're gonna take defensive maneuvers for extra dodge, then we're gonna take rigorous training, into agility, into the first psyker spell, and feeble. This one is extremely important, by the way. This is a huge debuff on enemies. The next one would be athletics, into agility, into poison, or better to say biophysical distortion. Toxic damage on Heinrix is quite good. Then we're gonna take athletics, into desolation, into ulti upgrade daring breach number 1 for extra movement points. Then we're gonna take open engagement, into weapon skill, into purge soul, into better to die for the emperor, into weapon skill. Then we're gonna take carouse. Then we take nimble for that extra dodge. Then we're gonna take carouse again. Then we take toughness, into it will not die, and we finish everything off with ulti upgrade number 2 for the daring breach. After we're done with the warrior, Heinrix becomes an assassin. For the assassin, he starts with a Sigdi opening, into elusive shadow, then we upgrade elusive shadow with elusive speed, then we're gonna go with a dispatch, into action points power spike increase, then into agility, then we take professional acumen, then we're gonna go with agility again, athletics, into that whisper, into carmine whisper, into weapon skill, into psyker minores. Then we're gonna take perfect opening, into strength, into athletics. Then we're taking dispatch, ulti upgrade number 1, into psyker majores, into esquive. Then we're gonna take weapon skill, into coercion, into one of the best spells mid game, that would be warp speed. Then we're gonna take Psyker Terminus, then we're gonna take Bringer of Doom, then Lord Xenos, into Inevitable Enervation, then we're taking Strength, into Psyker Extremis, and we finish off with ulti upgrade number 3 for Dispatch. From the Assassin, Heinrix receives his true power as an exemplar, and he's definitely the most OP companion in Act 4, and in Act 5 as well. So, he scales up slowly, but once he scales up as an exemplar, he really becomes absolutely great, starting from this point over here. As an exemplar, eager for battle is a must. You need a lot of action points on Heinrix, because he's got a lot of spells and skills to cast during that first round. After that, we're gonna take Clenched Teeth, then we're gonna take Athletics, into Deadly Calculation, then we're taking Agility, into Blade of Light, and then the best freaking spell on Heinrix that you can take would be Metabolic Overcharge. After that, we're taking athletics into know it all, extra crit, extra parry, extra dodge, and so on. Then we're gonna take killing spree into agility, into ramming speed, into hammer of the emperor, into toughness. Then we're taking long killer into adrenaline surge, into demolition, perfection under fire, action points increase, power spike into thick skin, demolition into psalms of heroes, into demolition again. Then we're gonna take strange vitality into willpower, into toughness, into demolition. Then we're taking critical velocity into impetus, into seize the advantage. Then we're taking demolition, eternal glory for extra tankiness. Then we're gonna take grenadier for the free grenade at the end game. We're taking sword of fate into strength, into destroyer, and we finish up with lethality heightens with action point power spike increase. Now that would be Heinrix. All of this looks quite strange, but once you start playing and once you equip correct items on Heinrix, Heinrix really becomes great. What you want on Heinrix in the early game are items that provide dodge with light armor. So you want boots for charge early game, for charge to cost less, and you want dodge on every single item, wherever you can take it, that is. Mid game, again, you wanna upgrade Heinrix with dodge and with Psy rating as much as you can. Late game, it should look like this. There's a lot of great items on Heinrix. For example, if you go in a late game and now you wanna switch armor and you're gonna take, for example, the scarf that gives Psy rating, okay? But you need to remove armor, then his Psy rating rises even further, as you can see here. If you want that extra dodge when the combat starts, you just need to remove armor. And now you got Heinrix that's gonna dodge a lot, and he is extremely powerful with Psy rating, and then he's got through his talents stackable Psy rating as well, so his spells will be absolutely insane as a Psyker Inquisitor. When he gets mad, he goes all in melee with a Triumph of Fate, and he's got knockback with the Foe Hammer. And you always want to open up with a Blood Drinker staff. Now, a lot of people will say how the best one would be the Sanctic Righteous Fire staff, because it gives, willpower, fellowship, and so on. That's just wrong, because this staff, again, gives Psy rating. And the Blood Drinker staff is the best staff on Heinrix, and you should use the Blood Drinker staff. You want Psy rating as high as possible. We'll explain why later on. So that would be weapons. Triumph of Fate, Blood Drinker, Foe Hammer. As far as helmet goes, increased Psy rating. Then the trinkets, again, you can put a lot of different trinkets on Heinrix, a lot of Psy trinkets and so on. But again, we're gonna take melee attack damage with the Hands of Offense, and we're gonna take Mystic Ward. For the gloves, classic weapon skill and strength, and for the cape, we will take Blessed Cape into boots with improved lightweight boots, parry, and reroll failed dodge tests. At this point, Heinrix becomes brutal, but you need to play Heinrix the correct way. Yeah, it's not only gear, so how do we play Heinrix? Early game, when he's a warrior, usually what you want to do is stay behind, endure, debuff enemies with enfeeble. From far away you can use Purge Soul, and you want to charge into enemies once you have Daring Breach, so you can swing and attack enemies 5-6 times in a row. That's early game. Also, you can buff someone up with Iron Arm, and you should always open up fights with the Word of the Emperor. Mid game, you always want to do all the combos that I said, but first you're gonna buff up with the Word of the Emperor into the warp speed, and before ending the turn you want to keep one action point and use Elusive Shadow, so you dodge even more during enemy's turn. They're gonna waste rounds on Heinrix. Also, there are free attacks with a Death Whisper, which is extremely nice, and I would advise that you skip the Dispatch ulti and always use Daring Breach when you can. Aim for the opening is the way to open up fights in mid-game, so how it should look like basically. It's Word of the Emperor, into Iron Arm, into Enfeeble, debuff enemies, into Warp Speed, Then you go in charge, okay? Aim for the opening, hit enemy, use elusive shadow. That's how you play with Heinrix. Mega late game, he receives the best freaking gear in the game. You should always have a staff equipped now, and you should not attack in the first round. You should just focus up on buffing up your allies and Heinrix. So how do we play him now? Word of the Emperor, into Iron Arm, into Enfeeble, debuff those enemies, then Warp Speed, the damage dealer in your party. Then you're gonna use Hammer of the Emperor, extra damage, a lot of extra AoE damage, and you're gonna end up with Metabolic Overcharge on the companion that deals damage most out of all. For example, on Kibela or on Cassia. When the things get rough, you always have Sword of Fate, and then you enter in with Daring Breach at the end game, and you hurt like freaking crazy. Heinrix is one of the best companions in the game, and Heinrix, with his Psyker combos, AoE buffs and debuffs, and single target damage, is absolutely insane if played the right way. There's like 10 different combo outputs for Heinrix. There's 10 different builds. You can go in full Psyker, full Assassin. I believe Mix is the best because Mix provides plenty of options during combat and it keeps the entire team safe because Sanctic is just the best Psyker in the game, let's be real. Yeah. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.